Yo dog, I heard you like modifying your modified car so that you can modify that modification and modify while you modify factory. Kevo, no prep and test hits. We did really well last episode and I'm super happy with the result. We managed a 1.9 60 foot on the draggy on a really crap surface. I think that's quite impressive. Again, I'm just the monkey releasing the trans brake button and Kai is in charge of power management on this thing. He is such a wealth of knowledge and I really want to give Kai a shout out. If you're after a very knowledgeable tuner, please hit up Night Family Motorsport. Kai is the man. So when we're doing some test hits, we had some weights kind of sitting in the tank here. It's a bit dodgy. We've mounted these spigots basically above the chassis rail in a location which is the strongest. It's a whole bunch of sheet metal back here and sheet metal can be quite flimsy when you start hanging 60 kilos off it. So where we've mounted them, one is a strong point, and two, before I got these weights off Marketplace, we only had like 10 kilo weights, and when I picked these up I was like, oh wow, these are huge. So we've had to do some modifying. One thing is cast iron weights. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me struggling with the bandsaw. I had a bit of trouble with this. I melted 2 bandsaw blades and it was actually a really engaging post. Thanks to everyone that messaged me about it. The end solution was basically hack at it with a grinder and then throw them on the ground and split them in half. Once I got kind of halfway through, the cast iron would then split. That was the best solution. And I tried an oxy torch, I tried the plasma cutter, I tried another mate's bandsaw, I melted his bandsaw blade. That was just the easy solution. So the reason we've done this is because now we can slip them in. Yes, of course, we've cut some weight off there, maybe 5 kilos or so. But now we can actually mount the weights in a safe position and a strong position. So you can see over this side over here, now that we've cut the weights down, you can actually slip them in past the fuel cell. So that's easy to get them in and out. I actually had to move the nitrous bottle forward further. I've got to make a new line for that. And on this side over here, the same thing goes. We've had to cut them down to get them past the fuel cell, but we've actually also had to deal with the fuel pump and fuel filter, which was also in the way. So now we've got to modify that and change some lines. As it goes, you're forever modifying your car. And that's why they say no project car is ever finished, because the further you develop it, the more shit you're gonna have to change. We wanna make these mounts adjustable. I wanna make them so that when I'm at the track, I can remove and add weight if needed. So that's why we're making it so that they can be removed. Otherwise, I don't wanna pull the fuel pump off every time I've got to change a weight. So that's what we're doing back here. I've got a big list of stuff to do. There's map sensors to change. I want to do an oil change. I've got to add a harness. I want to put a battery isolator on the car so that you can isolate the battery from outside of the car. And we're also fitting up some new shocks. So I've got a set of Shockworks in the front of Kevo currently. Originally, I hit up Chris and said, hey dude, building a track car, what can you do for us? And he basically said, what are you using the car for? I said, prep track, I want to go fast. Sweet. He sent us up a set of shocks to suit basically a fully prepped track. So the valving in these front shocks doesn't work for a no prep scenario where you actually want the front of the car to lift. So Thursday night, that night we're doing testing, I called Chris, and this is why I don't get any special YouTuber hookups. This is why, I mean, I don't recommend calling Chris at 7:30, but he answered the phone, what's going on? Sweet, I'll get you some shocks sent out. Friday, he built these for us and sent them up. I got them on Monday, so over the weekend. And now these shocks, and the quality speaks for themselves. These guys, they know what's up. They do drift cars, rally cars, circuit cars, and now getting into the drag racing scene. They've got their names on some very, very fast cars. And now their name is on Kevo, got a sticker on the side there. I really want to say thanks to Shockworks for hooking us up. And now I've got 2 sets of shocks to work with either a prep track when we eventually get this car to work at events like maybe Kenda Radial Ride or any of the other events, maybe QRDC, whatever I can get the car to. But these are now going to be my no prep front shocks. So we're going to put a bit of preload in this front spring. That's just going to help it also lift. So that's another job. And really, again, thank you so much, Shockworks. If you're after a set of coilovers for your street car, drag car, drift car, whatever it is, don't hesitate to give the guys a call. I've got links in the description for you to check them out. So all in all, There's a fair bit going on, and I'm making this an episode because this is the stuff that goes on. This is the stuff that you wouldn't normally film before going to an event, but I want to film it because I think it's quite interesting. So sit down, grab yourself a lemon squash, and watch ourselves modify Kevo some more, and get ready for Bunga Junga No Prep Cash Days. First up on the list is to relocate the fuel pump and filter assembly. I'm moving it about 100 mil further back towards the front of the car just to give the weights some clearance. You can see here I've heated up a screwdriver to basically melt the carpet so the new bolt holes can slip straight down through into the nutserts.
Welcome to MTB Cribs. This is my boot. Making up some AN lines. Big fuel cell on my chest. Do a roll cage. Bit of a squinty eye. Poke my tongue out for concentration.
With the pump and filter assembly repositioned, that meant we had to modify the AN lines. I've also added this shut-off valve from the feed line of the tank. This basically means I can now shut the fuel supply off so the fuel filter can be serviced when there's still fuel in the tank. There will be a fair bit of residual fuel draining back from the line that comes from the surge tank, but this just means I can shut the tank off and I won't drain the tank when I'm servicing the filter. Here's a couple of 2.5 kilos that Westie's donated for the cause. As any car guy, you hang on to handy bits of metal, and Westie's hung on to these weights for a future purpose, and now they have a purpose. They're dirty, they're rusty, and I don't like that, so we're going to clean them up, and we're going to do that with some CRC Evapo Rust. I've used this stuff before. It is such an awesome liquid to have in the shed. It is safe on all types of metals, and basically all you need to do is submerge your parts in the liquid, and it cleans all the rust off. And then once you clean all the scale, you can then paint straight away. Clean it off, give it a prep and paint it. The instructions do say to clean the item, soak it, and then as soon as it's removed, after, depending on the condition of the rust, between 30 minutes and up to, what does it say? Up to 24 hours. So we're going to do that. What I'm going to actually do though is we're just going to throw one in as it is, and the other one we're going to hit with the Y wheel, just as a bit of an experiment to see what if it does make a difference at all. This stuff is, yeah, as I said, it's killer. It works so well, and I've actually painted bare metal straight after this with a clean. It really does do metal just wonders. So rust be gone. We ended up soaking the weights for under an hour, and this is the end result. It completely cleans all that rust scale off the iron, and you're now left with a bare surface ready to be painted. CRC also have a range of paints available. We're using some metal armor, which is basically a primer sealer, which we can lay down some coats and have these weights looking a lot nicer than what they were before.
Nice, fresh as.
Hey bro, how you going in there, people?
You got the lanky arms to get into the tight spot.
I got go gadget arms. The Kevo AN things, you know?
Someone put a dipstick in the way.
I'm gonna put a dipstick in the way. Actually, that was me.
Talk me through it, what's going on?
So we're remote mounting some pressure sensors because they don't like being on the side of the engine. Dealing with harmonics tends to throw them off. So doing that, we've got to get where the sensor used to be, in this case the map sensor on the manifold, over to its new location here, so we've got to run a line for that. Same with the crankcase pressure. And while we're in here, we're just moving a few other things around for ease and convenience. A few more things ticked off the list, ready to go fast.
As I said in the last episode, the map sensor and the crankcase pressure sensor is the same. They're both a 5-bar map sensor. Don't need a 5-bar map for the crankcase pressure, but it's just what I had laying around. I've also got a 5-bar in the surge tank, is also an absolute sensor too. So it's just kind of spares, and it's for data. If a map sensor broke at the track, I can then swap it over with the crankcase pressure. I'm also going to carry a spare anyway now, as well as a lot of other things. There still is an air temp sensor screwed into the manifold, but you can't really remote mount an air temp sensor, as it will then give you a false reading. It's one of those glass, I believe it is a Siltec thing, but it's a glass tip fast response sensor too. So it's there, and I do have a spare anyway if it were to be failed, and I've now relocated that to the very front of the manifold, so it's the easiest one to get to. I feel like this is a bit unnecessary with one person job.
Want me to reach down as well?
Ready, set,
Go.
Ah, damn it.
What are you doing?
Didn't do it hard enough. Oh, now I've cocked it.
Bro.
Oh, twice. Oh, you
Everyone
can
said
do it.
co-joint. You gonna hold that side?
No, you just hold it. Yeah, you just do it.
Mate, that's way harder than we need.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to put these new front shocks in Kevo, as Woody's already mentioned. You can already see straight away that the shock body itself is longer and the spring is longer as well. Neither of these springs have any preload on them currently. They're just snugly done up. This is going to require a fair bit of preload. They've asked us for nearly 2 inches, and that's going to put more spring pressure and let the car stand up as it leaves the line and put the weight on the back of the car and send traction and hopefully push it down the track. So we've got a few things to change over on these now. We've got the little knob on the bottom to adjust our separation rates, and we've got the spherical bearing at the top that we need to change over as well. Pretty simple sort of stuff. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll get them in the car. Before we pulled these out, we took a heap of data measurements from the ground to sill height, from the centre of the spindle to the guard heights, the amount that the thread was showing between the adjustability points on the actual shock body itself within the spindle mount. So we've got a heap of stuff that we can refer back to when we get the car on the ground, so that we can get it back as close as we had it before, so we haven't altered too many of our other settings in the car, and hopefully give us the best chance at a really good result. Stand by.
Yeah, you use the Shockworks.
Shockworks factory plus, bro.
Smile back there, Ross.
We've got the Shockworks bolted back in the front. We've set the ride height. That's all good. I spoke to Chris and said, are you happy with 50mm compression with the preload we put in? And he said, yep, that's all we can work with. We probably want to go to a lighter spring, but for now, that's going to be fine. Chris, I will be going to see the guys at Shockworks. Either I'm going to take the car down there, or when we're at the track, they might come, Chris might come to the track with us to help us maybe valve them. He's got a full setup, and again, they're very, very experienced with their craft, and it goes to show with what the product that they supply. Now we're moving on to a few safety items. One of them is harnesses. Uncle Russell's bolting in some harnesses for us. That's just the 6-point that I've got. The car isn't teched yet, and I don't have to have tech for Warwick, but it is still a safety item. Rather than having just a lap sash belt, I feel safer in a harness. The other one is a battery isolator. Well, being able to isolate the battery from external of the car. Now, I can't take any credit for this because this is Westy's invention, but basically this is a cable that you can have on the external of the car. When you pull the cable, it then pulls on the isolator in the center console. Now, we could have mounted it somewhere in the cow here, but we want to be sneaky and obviously it's got to be in a good location. And so basically what Westy's done is, I can't take any credit for this, he's hollowed the center of a bolt out, which then basically goes onto the cable like so. And then this now, there goes my washer, this can now be bolted onto, sorry, I just don't want to lose that washer, the guard here in a hole. Let's just go like that. You can see that hole there. So basically now with the bonnet closed, this cable sits there. I'll get some shots of it fitted after. We'll fit it up. This cable sits right here, just shy of the bonnet, and all you see is the cable. I'll have a sticker here on the bonnet to say battery, so that the marshals know if there's a fire, if I crash, all they've got to do is pull that and the battery's off. So Westy, you're a king. I love that. It's all the little things that no one ever sees, but now you get to see it because I think that's really cool. Nice little extension that you spent, I don't know, 20 minutes on the lathe making. I appreciate the small things. Killer. We'll fit that up. I've done a bit of stuff on the Haltech. I've changed. We had front wheel speed sensor was configured wrong. That was my bad. It's a reluctant, not a Hall effect, because it's a standard sensor. I've fixed the flex fuel sensor, which was never working. That was again my stuff up, which was actually just configured in the ECU wrong with the wrong 12 volt supply wire. And what else did I do in there while we were there? I can't even. Wheel speed was done. Yeah, I did a bunch of stuff, but that's all. The rest of it's for Kai now. So I think once we're done that, we pretty well ticked everything off our list, and we're good to load it on the trailer, ready for Junga Bunga no prep. All the way deep, is that what you wanted it? Oh, that's so good. Perfect. Oh, look at him go. That's mint.
I was just going to texture it to the shifter.
No, you weren't. After I've known you were.
Straight into the battery case.
Straight into the battery cable. Safety first, kids.
Alright, one battery isolator done. Oh, Westy, I like it.
I'm happy about that, bro.
That is snazzy.
Good one.
Thanks, mate. Job well done.
Good pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Russ. Thanks for your help, homie. Thanks, Mason. Thanks for holding the torch, young fella.
Nitrous?
Nitrous I haven't got yet, no.
CO2's filled. Won't worry about cooling. I've got to do. Won't worry about an oil change because it's still fine. I'll be fine with that.
Not cooling.
Done. Sweet. Go and see Macca tomorrow. North Arm nitrous refills.
Only a little bit this time.
Just a little bit. Get those valves in.
So a couple of changes made to Kevo, and now we've got the master, Sir Knight, around for a systems check, mate.
Yeah, we are. Warwick's like 3 hours away from us, so we're just going through. We've moved some sensors around. Woody's done a handful of stuff, so literally this is just a once over of anything we might need to address here in the shed before we tow 3 hours away and have to address it at the track. So everything's looking good. It's doing all it's supposed to do. Boost control's following. We just set up the auto shifter. That's all working. So yeah, it'll be. You can even feel fancy. You can pull it back and release, and 2.6 seconds later, it'll change gear. Saves
Good one.
Woody accidentally revving it
I've already done that once.
a lot.
Oh, well, there's second gear there.
Yeah. So yeah, that we've got set up. So that's all the bits and pieces we're sort of doing. We're also we got a handful of little bits and pieces we're gonna check. We're gonna check the bump. We're gonna have a look at the size of the bump, probably out in the driveway, and we're gonna bring it up with the nitrous, just to see how speedy that is. I'm hoping it's gonna be extra speedy. And yeah, that concludes our fun.
Sweet. All right. And pop quiz. How was your week today? What was the most interesting car you tuned this week?
Interesting car I tuned this week.
Well, your most exciting day anyway.
Most exciting day. What do we have? Probably it was I did a Barra Patrol that was okay. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah, we did flex tune on that and E10 and all kinds of stuff. And
Sweet.
yeah, had the naturally aspirated the NA plus T and managed to make 550. So we're pretty happy with that. Yeah.
All right. Nice one.
Yeah.
All right. Wicked. Well, let's put some nitrous on and.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Sweet.
I was so ready to let go of that button. That comes on so much better. Like, bang. Nitrous still scares me though. I still don't like it.
It's all right.
All right, are we good then?
We're good. We'll check some stuff, but I think everything works. So that's good.
There you go, a little bit of a bonus episode pre-racing Kevo. It's all stuff that needs to happen, and I'm not the only one who does this either. Everyone that goes to a race meet deals with the same kind of problems. It's never ending, and I don't know, I suppose it's a few little tips and tricks here and there. It's cool hanging out in the shed with Westy and getting some shit done. So stoked on that. We are ready to race. I'm not going to worry about the oil, not going to worry about changing that because it's still pretty fresh in my opinion. I'll just top it up a little bit. We've got to service a trailer, but I won't worry about filming that because I think that's a boring topic, so we'll leave that one. And off the Junga Bunga, no prep cash days, and I am gonna shit myself when I release that trans brake on. It's a no prep event, but it's still a track, so it's way grippier than the surface we tested on. So keen for some laps in Kevo, and yeah, it's look, I won't say Kevo scares me. It does scare me a little bit. But it's just not like any vehicle I've driven before. I've never driven a car that comes on so hard, so late in the rev range compared to the Crown wagon with a barrel with a torque. You put your foot down and it lights up and just goes. So this thing's like waiting, and then freaking blurry screen, Fast and Furious nitrous effects going on. It's, yeah, tunnel vision crazy. All right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, buy some merch, tell your mum, and enjoy the moment. Drive safe. See you next time. Cheers.